Hello and welcome to our program. Thanks for joining us this week and every week here on WFRZ TV. Our program today is going to be dealing with a special ministry that is focused in the Auburn area, but certainly reaches out to the surrounding area as well. And we have with us not one guest, but two. We have with us today Corrie Kent and Julie Brown. And thank you for taking the time to come to tell us all about Near His Heart. And we know that it's a ministry that is designed, focused on the needs of special children, special needs children. Tell us about how you're able to help families like that. Corrie?
Well, the one thing that sticks out in my mind is there's a lot of families around in the area that have children with special needs, and most of the time there's events held for the children, and there is therapies and social groups and support groups that help you with your children, but there's not very many things out there to help the parents and to minister to the parents. And so that's one reason that I like being involved with this, because I am a parent of a child with special needs, and I know that there's sometimes that we get lonely and frustrated and need encouragement, and that's what this night is geared towards.
And this night is coming up February 21st, I believe.
Yes, Friday night.
And we'll hear more about that. Let's find out from you, Julie, about what this ministry has meant for you and your family.
It has meant a lot for us. I got to had the privilege of being in on the beginnings of this ministry. I think just for myself personally, it was something, as Corrie mentioned, there are a lot of organizations, support groups that help get information to parents about different therapies and different treatments, which is so very needed. And my husband and I have been a part of some of those support groups, and that's great and it's very needed. But there was very little given to really encourage parents, especially on a spiritual level. And so I had wanted to be a part of something like this for a while, but knew I couldn't do it on my own. And so the Lord just brought that opportunity to me a couple of years ago. A friend of mine that had a daughter with special needs was on our women's ministry committee at our church, and they asked her one day, do you have an idea for a way to reach out in our community? And she said, what about something for parents of children with special needs? They said, that sounds like a good idea. So she came running to me and said, Julie, we need to pray. We need to, I think this is going to happen. And so we began to pray. There were some other things on the agenda, so we kind of had to wait to see if it was really going to happen. And so then they came to us and said, what do y'all think? And I said, let's do a whole day outreach for moms. This is so, and they said, why don't we start with a dinner? And I said, you're right. I tend to think real big. And they said, let's bring it in. And we said, if we had a dinner, we could invite the dads as well. It wouldn't just be geared towards moms. And so my friend Carrie was did a phenomenal job that first year of really digging the footings, laying the groundwork for all of this to take place. And for me personally, what I've learned through the speakers, through getting to be in touch with the speakers before they came and just talking through what they wanted to share, I feel like I've learned so much about God's heart for my son with special needs that I didn't even go into this really knowing that just how valuable children with special needs are to the Lord. There's a verse that says the weaker member is indispensable to the body of Christ. And so in the last couple of years, when I look at my son, instead of seeing autism, instead of seeing motor skill delays, I see indispensable to the body of Christ. And so for me, in just my mindset, I had no idea that being a part of this, how much of a blessing it would actually be to me and to my family.
Well, how many years has it gone on? This event coming up is what, the fourth?
This will be the third year.
Third year?
Yes.
And the speakers are typically parents who have children with special needs themselves, right?
Yes, they are. The first year, kind of how all this came about, we had a college student in our church who had been to a retreat, had helped at a retreat for families of children with special needs in South Carolina. And the speaker was Greg Lucas, and she had gotten a copy of his book that told his story. It's a book called Wrestling with an Angel, and she had brought that back to my friend Carrie, and all that kind of happened all at once with the women's ministry seeking to do something for the community. And Carrie said, hey, what about, I've read his book, let's see if Greg will come. Well, one of Greg's references was Justin Reimer, who is the founder of the Elisha Foundation. That was the retreat he was speaking at, and Justin's actually our speaker this year. He runs a foundation out in Oregon that does respite and retreats for families, and has actually helped people in their churches to start special needs ministries there. He has a son with Down syndrome, and has also kind of branched out and done some retreats across the country, and that's what that one was that year. And I think it was in North Carolina actually that year, and then he did one in South Carolina this fall. But we're very excited about having him, and just the way that the Lord has put us in touch with these different men. And we like it. We like having a man come because we feel like they can really speak to the fathers. Mm-hmm. Girls are real relational, and we can catch up and kind of relate and share our woes with each other. Men don't really do that, and so we've been encouraged to have a father actually come and share his own, share his story.
Well, what do you hope to see come from the event? I mean, I know that night will be a wonderful night of encouragement and new friendships and
right. Well, I think for me, just the families being encouraged is our main goal out of anything. We want these families to feel encouraged and not feel so alone. But our next goal would be for it to have a ripple effect in our community, to where others are reaching out and helping families helping minister to these families. Our churches can minister in such great ways to these families through special needs programs at the church and having people there that can minister to the families.
Well, let's, if you have joined us here midstream, I want to let you know that we're talking with Julie Brown and Corrie Kent, who have come over from the Auburn area to tell us about an event coming up Friday, February 21st, and it will be at Lakeview Baptist Church?
Lakeview Baptist, yes.
And wonderful opportunity for the children themselves to come to the event, but especially aimed at encouraging and giving hope and guidance to the families, to the parents of the children. There are what might be called primary and secondary goals, I think. Tell us about that, Julie.
Well, I think our primary goal initially was, hey, how can we minister to these families? We have not really seen anything like that in our area, in the Lee County area. Some in Montgomery. I think for a while there was a respite ministry here. I'm not sure if it's still going on. But in Auburn area, there used to be something through the university when we first moved there, but the last several years there's been nothing. There's no respite care that I'm aware of. There just has not been an outreach, particularly from the churches, to these families. And so we wanted, first of all, to help the families. We wanted to minister to them. We wanted to encourage them. It's just one night, and we're very aware of that. I think as moms of special needs children ourselves, we're kind of like, this is what we can do. This is a start. And so we've started with the dinner. But that's the primary goal. I think secondary would be the children, not that they're secondary, but kind of alongside the parents, that they're blessed, that they're encouraged. But I think another goal kind of under that, a desire was that the people in the community helping, because it takes a small army of people that night. That is our biggest thing. When people say, how can we help? Our first question is, can you help with childcare? Because if we have 100 children signed up, we usually have 100 volunteers in childcare. Last year we had 150 signed up. I'm sure some families got sick or some different reasons they didn't come, but we were prepared for, I think, 150 children that night. And we probably had 120 volunteers ready to minister to those children. And so our goal was that those are people from all over the community. It is certainly not a Lakeview event. It's hosted at Lakeview. Corrie goes to First Baptist Opelika. Our director of child care goes to Cornerstone United Methodist. I think last year we had 3 different pastors' wives from 3 different churches helping in childcare, one's a nurse and was able to help in that way. And so it really is a church body community outreach. And our one of our desires is that the church body would be open, that their eyes would be open to the needs of these families and to see just how needed the ministry is to reach out to families with special needs. And so that was really what we were hoping would be our kind of the ripple effect that Corrie mentioned, and we're beginning to see that, which has been really fun. It's been slow, but it's coming, and so we've been real encouraged by that.
Well, now, some parents might be hearing us talk about this event, and they may be thinking of the expense, but there's no expense to the guests that you're inviting, right?
It's totally off donations, and from other people donating their time in bringing food, childcare, so we can offer this to the families free of charge, which is a great ministry for us. I think that's my favorite part, getting to tell people that it's free, because so many people have, I don't per se, but they have medical bills. Some people with children with physical disability, they have medical bills and their insurance doesn't pay, and asking them to pay for one more thing is just not a good idea.
Yes.
And when you're already emotionally and physically drained, you don't want their pocketbook to be drained either. And so being able to tell people this event is free, come, let us love on you, is just so fun for me to be able to tell them that. So
I bet.
We've actually had, I think every year we have had somebody ask us at some point, how much will this event cost? And even a better question we've had asked is, what will it cost to make this nice for these families? And so we have just, especially that first year, because it got planned very quickly and we had no budget, and the way that the Lord brought in the money, as the money came in, we went and got gift bags, and then more money came in and we went and got little Bible pocket promise books to put in the gift bags. And so it was just so fun to see the Lord raise up people that really do want to help our families, but I think a lot of times they don't know how. They might be intimidated by those with special needs. We even, just last week, I had a young woman, she's a pharmacy student in the Auburn area, called me and asked if she wanted information about how she could be part of the Sunday morning special needs ministry at our church. And she said, last year I signed up to help with Near His Heart in childcare, but she actually has mild cerebral palsy herself. And so she said, strength-wise, I always thought of helping special needs children as heavy lifting, and she said I knew I couldn't do that. But by helping last year, she said I realized there's all different kinds of special needs, and she said I realized that I could serve in that way. And so she was calling to see how she could serve, and I said, well, I will give you that information, but please know we want you at Near His Heart again this year. She said, absolutely, I'll be there. And so it's been fun to see other people, our volunteers, some who've had no contact with special needs, rise up and say, wow, that was so fun. One of our maintenance staff last year had the best time helping a boy in a wheelchair with a trach tube. They had come in, they were supposed to come in upstairs with the ramp, and they had come in downstairs instead, and so we had to figure out how to get him up. And our maintenance staff, he's a real big muscular guy, he works out, and he got to actually help get this child upstairs, and then he stayed with them, and he was just telling me all about him after it was over. He said, kids like that, they don't have to talk, they can talk with their eyes. And he said, y'all need to do that every chance you get. And I said, I'm gonna pass that on to our church staff and let them know. But it's just so fun to see how other people have been touched by this, and to see them able to help and want to help, and what all they've learned through this.
Well, in the process of preparing for that great Friday evening, there is an event earlier for pastors and youth leaders, isn't there?
Yes, that was something we didn't have time to do the first year, but last year we were able to add a lunch, and we call it our pastors/church leaders lunch. The speaker will come and speak about the heart and the whys behind special needs ministry in the church. And he did that last year. We had church staff, we had church interns, we had elders from some churches come. But the reason it's called a pastor/church leaders lunch is because we worked with our speaker last year, John Knight, to help put that together. We asked him for ideas, how can you help us with this? And he said, I will. And he said he liked the idea, but he said, I do not want a bunch of special needs parents coming to this lunch to figure out how to do special needs ministry. He said, we need the leadership in the church to come and hear the heart and whys and hows behind special needs ministry. He said they need to catch a vision for it. And so we had some come. We're going to do that again this year, and are hoping more pastors and church leaders will come. Now, Corrie actually got to attend it. I was running around getting ready for that night, but Corrie got to attend. Is there anything you want to add?
Oh, I think that it was great. I think that a lot of the people, their eyes were really opened. They didn't realize how much of a need it was in our area. And I know that our children's minister came and sat in it with me, and she just was blown away at the opportunity that there is in our area to minister to these families.
Well, you minister through music.
Right.
God has given you a beautiful voice. Tell us a bit about how your songs are incorporated, and have you written special material for them?
No, I wish that I could write songs. I usually just sing whatever somebody else has written, but one of the songs that we're doing this year is called Though You Slay Me. And I heard this actually off of John Knight, our speaker last year, off his blog. I was looking for music for this year's Near His Heart, and I found this song, and I sat there and listened to it, and I just had tears rolling down my face when I heard it the first time, because it just spoke volumes to where I had been in my life and my journey with my son having special needs. He's 7, and he was diagnosed 3.5 years ago with autism. And I think for a long time I struggled trying to find my way through my faith. And this was kind of the song that made me realize that, you know, God chastens us, and He binds us, and then He opens the door and floods us with His mercy and His grace. So that's kind of how I picked this song out for this year, and we'll be doing it that night. And it's just a very wonderful and powerful song about how we should continue to worship through the hard times.
Well, we had a chance before going on the air with our full program to tape you singing, and I think now is a good time to hear exactly what happened.
I come, Lord, I come, return to the Lord, the one who's broken, the one who's torn me apart. You strike down to bind me up, you say you do it all in love, that I might know you in your suffering. And though you slay me, yet I will praise you. And though you take from me, I will bless your name. And though you ruin me, still I will worship, sing a song to the one who's all I need. My heart and flesh may fail, the earth below give way, and with my eyes, I'll see the Lord. Lifted high upon that day, behold the Lamb that was slain, and I'll know that every tear was worth it all. And though you slay me, yet I will praise you. And though you take from me, I will bless your name. And though you ruin me, still I will worship, sing a song to the one who's all I need. And though tonight I'm crying out, let this cup pass from me now, you're still more than I need. You're enough for me. You're enough for me. And though you slay me, yet I will praise you. And though you take from me, I will bless your name. And though you ruin me, still I will worship, sing a song to the one who's all I need. I'll sing a song to the one who's all I need.
Beautiful music sung by Corrie Kent, and Corrie is here with us today, as is Julie Brown. And we're talking about Near His Heart, an event coming up for families with children of special needs. It's coming up February 21st, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's hear more about when and where and how to register and how to contact you.
All right, well, you already said it's February the 21st. It's at 6 o'clock at Lakeview Baptist in Auburn. And you can register online at www.nearhisheart2014.blogspot.com. And there is registration links on there for the parents and for the pastors and for volunteers. If there's anybody that wants to volunteer for childcare or to cook or come serve, and there's all those links. There's even some other information about how Near His Heart got started and about the different people on our Near His Heart team.
And Julie?
Well, I was just going to add that we were talking about the child care. One thing that Corrie and I wanted people to know as parents of children with special needs, I told somebody recently, child care being available does not always mean for me that it's Tyler available. Tyler's my son with special needs. Do they have enough help? Do they help trained? I just wanted to say our child care director is a board certified behavioral analyst and has worked with autistic children for about 20 years. She is bringing friends. We have BCBAs, we have special ed teachers, we have nurses on staff. We have at least 3 to 4 nurses that'll be there that night. We handpick, our child care director, Kim Smith, handpicks the volunteers to match with the children. And so we make sure that every child is accounted for and has the person that they need. And so if there's any question about that, people can call the number on the flyer, or they can look on the blog spot that Corrie just mentioned and get information about that. But we try to make sure everybody's needs are covered, and then the parents are in the same building so they can come and be gotten if anything goes wrong, because I know as a parent you want your child to be okay first. And if your child's okay, then you can relax and enjoy your dinner. So
you mentioned the flyers, and I wonder, are there locations all over Lee County and surrounding area where the flyers can be found at this business or that?
There's different places, different churches that will have them. There are different school systems that in the Lee County area, all of the Lee County school systems, I believe, will be sending them home with the children. Chambers County is sending them home. I hope Macon County again this year. So that those spots, they will be available, and they can go to the blog spot and get the information and contact us, and we can get people flyers if they would like some.
Now, there's not any likelihood that you would run out of room, is there? I mean, it's important for people to register early. But
Actually, yes. Last year, we had room to grow last year, but it grew by about 50% between year 1 and year 2. If it grows by 50% again, we will max out. And so we're already talking about next year where we can have it if we max out this year. So yes, people do need to call and register, and child care is available for as many volunteers as we have volunteer to help with the children. So it is important that they register early. So if we need to get more child care workers, we can go out and beg and plead and do that.
Oh, great. Well, in the time that we have remaining, and it's less than a minute, let's hear those phone numbers again, or any other way that people can get in touch
you want
with
on the
you.
blog spot?
Sure. It is www.nearhisheart2014.blogspot.com.
And then the number is 334-887-3909.
And say that again.
334-887-3909.
Good. Takes 2 or 3 times for folks with
No,
white hair like this.
No, that's great. We thank you so much for having us and for helping get the word out, because we really want parents to come and be encouraged and be ministered to that night.
It's our great pleasure to have you here with us, and we've enjoyed talking with you, and we know it's going to be a wonderful night coming up February 21st. Our guests have been Corrie Kent and Julie Brown, and we thank you for joining us as well.
You've been watching a locally produced program by WFRZ, Frazer Christian Television. If you would like to contact us or for information on this and other programs, please call the station at 272-8622. We welcome your comments and suggestions.